Welcome back to Cruise News with your hosts Joe and Donna on our YouTube channel Travel 1609. And welcome to a special segment, a deep dive designed just for you. Today, we're diving into Royal Caribbean's huge announcement, Perfect Day Mexico.
Exactly. And you gave some great stuff to work with. We've got the official press releases from Royal Caribbean, naturally, plus take some travel, plus leisure, cruise critic, the Royal Caribbean blog, which always has good details, and even looked at what people are saying on Reddit, the real cruiser buzz. So our mission here is to pull out the really exciting bits, the important stuff, so you get a clear picture of what this new destination is all about.
Yeah, like a shortcut to knowing what's going on.
Pretty much, your fast track.
And honestly, what we found, it sounds pretty groundbreaking. We're talking about what could be their biggest perfect day destination yet. They're promising, like, record-breaking water slides and a lazy river that's over a mile long. And this mix of Royal Caribbean thrills and a real Mexican vibe.
It's a lot to unpack.
Totally. Okay, so where do we start? Maybe the basics.
Let's do that. The big picture first. So the announcement was October 9th, 2024, and Perfect Day Mexico itself, it's going to be in Mahahual. That's on Mexico's Caribbean coast.
Right, Western Caribbean itinerary.
Exactly. And they're aiming to open it up in 2027. This is clearly them expanding that whole Perfect Day collection concept, after CocoCay in the Bahamas did so well.
Right, CocoCay has been huge for them.
Hugely successful. And this shows they really want to, control more of that destination experience for their guests.
And it's not just this one project, is it? There's more coming.
No, that's a great point. You've also got the Royal Beach Club in Cozumel planned for 2026, and the Royal Beach Club Paradise Island in the Bahamas, that's supposed to be 2025.
So Perfect Day Mexico fits into this bigger strategy.
Definitely. And what's really interesting here is how they're doing it. They didn't just find an empty beach. They actually acquired the port of Costa Maya.
The whole port.
The port, and a massive chunk of land next to it, over 220 acres total.
Wow. Okay, that's a serious investment. What does that tell you?
It screams long-term commitment, right? They're planning to develop over 100 acres of that. Now, compare that to CocoCay. CocoCay has about 55 developed acres.
So nearly double the developed space.
Yeah, significantly bigger. It gives them the scale to do something really comprehensive. And you look at what the CEO, Jason Liberty, said. He mentioned travelers are really prioritizing unique experiences and destinations now.
People want more than just a beach chair.
Exactly. So this isn't just about adding another stop. It's tapping into that shift in what people are looking for on vacation.
Okay, and the promise is this blend you said. Thrills and relaxation, but with a Mexican flavor.
That's the core concept. You get the high-energy stuff Royal Caribbean is known for, but also plenty of ways to just chill out. And they seem to be aiming for like a genuine cultural feel, not just painting things bright colors,
Right, more authentic. So let's talk thrills. Loco Water Park, what's the scoop there?
Okay, Loco Water Park sounds like it's going to be the heart of the action for adrenaline junkies. And the main attraction there is this thing called Jaguar's Peak.
Jaguar's Peak sounds intense.
Get this. It's said to be the tallest water slide tower in the Americas.
Tallest. Wow. How many slides?
10 slides built into this one massive tower structure. And the big drop, 170 feet.
Whoa, 170 feet. Okay, that is significant. That puts it on the map for water parks, period.
Absolutely. It's a statement piece. And that's just one part of it. They're talking about over the 30 water slides total across the park.
30.
Record-breaking numbers. Plus, they're highlighting the tallest family raft slide in North and South America. Holds like 4 to 6 people.
Okay, so good for groups, too, not just solo thrill seekers.
Right. And then there's the Lazy River. This one sounds pretty special, too.
You said it was long.
The world's longest. Over a mile. They're saying it's about an hour-long float.
An hour? That's properly lazy.
Totally. And it gets better. 3 float-up bars along the way. You just paddle over for a drink.
Okay, I like the sound of that.
But here's a cool twist. They're also including a hidden stretch of, rushing rapids within the Lazy River.
Hidden rapids, so you're floating along peacefully and then splash.
Kind of. A little burst of excitement if you want it, but you don't have to get out or anything. It's a neat idea to mix it up.
That does sound fun. A little surprise. What about for families, like younger kids?
Yeah, they've thought about that, too. There's Splash Cove, a huge pool, like 100,000 square feet. And they're building Royal Caribbean's biggest splashaway bay yet for the little ones. Plus, and this is new, the first ever splashaway cabanas. So families can have their own little home base there.
Splashaway cabanas. Interesting. And did I read something about a sombrero slide?
You did. The world's first sombrero slide. You got to give them points for novelty and, leaning into the theme there.
Definitely memorable. Okay, so tons of action. What about the chill side of things?
Plenty of that, too. They're boasting nearly 2 miles of beach between Chill Beach North and Chill Beach South.
2 miles of beachfront. That's a lot.
It's significant. Suggests plenty of space to find your own spot, spread out, relax by the water.
And for adults looking for maybe a quieter or maybe a livelier escape without kids.
They have options. There's El Hideaway, that's the adults-only neighborhood. It's got a zero-entry pool. They mention live music, swim-up bar, even an in-pool DJ sometimes.
Okay, so that sounds more like a party vibe.
Yeah, it definitely seems geared towards a more energetic, social atmosphere. They even have a party cabana that holds up to 20 people.
20 people in one cabana. Wow. For groups, maybe?
Exactly. Groups wanting that kind of exclusive shared space. But then for a totally different feel, there's the Costa Beach Club.
Costa Beach Club.
Yeah.
That sounds more upscale.
That seems to be the idea. Quieter. It's got a heated infinity pool, white sand, private cabanas again. But these come with attendants. And they mentioned premium dining options there, too.
So kind of like CocoCay has the Coco Beach Club, a more premium, quieter zone.
Seems like a similar concept, yeah. Providing that range, lively adults area, serene relaxation zone, catering to different tastes.
Makes sense. Okay, let's circle back to that Mexican inspiration. How deep does it go? Is it just the sombrero slide?
Haha. Hopefully more than that. No, they seem to be trying to weave it in more genuinely. They talk about locally inspired design elements, authentic flavors in the food, a real cultural spirit.
How are they doing that specifically?
Well, the arrival area, Fiesta Plaza, is designed to hit you with it right away. Live music, dancing, margaritas, a vibrant welcome.
Sets the mood from the start.
Exactly. And this is a big one. They're saying nearly all the food at Perfect Day Mexico will be complimentary.
Whoa, really? Like CocoCay. That's a huge plus.
It's a major value add, yeah. Makes things much simpler once you're there. No need to constantly pull out your C-Pass card for a burger.
Definitely. And drinks. You mentioned float-up bars.
24 bars total across the property.
24.
Including 6 swim-up bars. So, yeah, finding a drink probably won't be an issue.
Probably not.
And beyond food and drink, they're planning art installations, mariachi performances, and shops featuring local artisans' work. The Chief Product Innovation Officer, Jay Schneider, specifically said they want it to feel like part of Mexico.
Okay, that sounds promising, like a real effort.
It does. And tied into that, there's a strong focus on sustainability and the local community. They're designing it to be, a modern, sustainable destination.
What does that mean in practice?
Well, they're committing to environmental safeguards, protecting the coastline, the mangroves nearby, the watershed. That's actually why they're not developing all 220-plus acres they bought. They're preserving a good chunk of it.
Oh, okay. That's good to hear. Responsible development.
Hopefully. And they're also stressing partnership with the local government in Quintana Roo, the state there. The idea is shared prosperity, shared benefits.
Local jobs.
A lot of them, potentially.
Yeah.
The projection is around 2,000 people needed just for operations once it's open.
2,000 jobs is significant for a place like Mahahual.
Absolutely. And the governor, Mara Lezama, sounded really enthusiastic about the investment and the economic boost. Seems like there's local buy-in.
Okay, that's positive. So let's get practical. For you listening, when can you actually go there?
Right, the key question. So if you're cruising with Royal Caribbean out of Florida or Texas.
The main departure ports for Western Caribbean.
Exactly. You'll start seeing Perfect Day Mexico on Itineraries beginning in 2027. And you'll be able to actually book those specific sailings starting in fall 2025.
Fall 2025 for booking. Got it. Mark your calendars.
Definitely. Something else important. The existing port, Costa Maya, isn't closing down. It'll stay open during construction, and it'll stay open to other cruise lines even after Perfect Day Mexico launches.
Oh, interesting. So other lines will still dock nearby.
Yeah, they're planning a separate transportation center for non-Royal Caribbean guests to manage the flow. Also, good news for Celebrity Cruises guests, you'll have access to Perfect Day Mexico, too.
Ah, okay. Part of the Royal Caribbean Group benefit.
Precisely.
And what if you, want to see more than just the Perfect Day complex? Can you still do other Costa Maya excursions?
It looks like it, yes. The sources suggest that shore excursions outside of Perfect Day Mexico will still be available. So you'll have that choice.
Good. Flexibility is nice.
One more detail. They're apparently aiming to open the whole thing at once.
Not in phases.
Right. Unlike CocoCay, which kind of rolled out in stages, They want Perfect Day Mexico to be fully operational from day one.
Okay, ambitious. Maybe lessons learned from CocoCay's rollout.
Very likely. And, checking out those Reddit discussions we mentioned,
Yeah, what's the vibe there?
a lot of excitement, especially from cruisers based in Texas. They seem really eager for a fresh, exciting Western Caribbean stop.
Makes sense. Some of those itineraries can get a bit repetitive.
Exactly. And there were definitely comments saying Costa Maya, the existing port area, was, let's say, ready for an upgrade or an alternative.
So this seems to fit the bill perfectly then.
It really does seem poised to be a huge deal.
Okay, so let's try and wrap this up. Key takeaways for you listening. Perfect Day Mexico looks set to be a major, major new destination.
Definitely. Significantly larger than CocoCay. Way more comprehensive. It's offering this really broad range from those record-setting thrills, tallest slides, longest lazy river,
Yeah, the stats are pretty wild.
to really extensive relaxation options like those miles of beach and the different club areas.
And all wrapped in hopefully an authentic taste of Mexican culture, not just superficial theming.
That seems to be the goal. That blend of high-energy adventure and just kicking back and relaxing.
Something for pretty much everyone, sounds like.
That's the idea. The scale is just massive. It really signals how much Royal Caribbean is investing in these private destinations.
So the big question for you listening, how does this news change things? Does this make you rethink your future cruise plans, especially if you sail from Florida or Texas?
Yeah, the Western Caribbean cruise map is definitely going to look different come 2027.
Which leads to maybe a final thought to chew on.
Go for it.
With Royal Caribbean investing so heavily in these huge, curated private experiences like CocoCay and now Perfect Day Mexico, what does that signal?
What does it mean for the future?
Yeah, what does it mean for the future of cruising, especially in the Western Caribbean? How might it change the kind of port experiences you've known?
That's a really interesting point. It's this potential shift, isn't it? The balance between these, perfectly managed, all-inclusive destination days.
Versus the traditional port day where you get off, maybe do an excursion, maybe just wander around the town and explore the local culture more freely.
Exactly. It's something to think about how these massive private developments might shape the cruise experience going forward.